It decreased in strength to a Category 2 by the time it started affecting the Florida coast. But again, you can see it's a much wider storm now, so those effects are still very dangerous. The eye of the storm clear from this view, the International Space Station 261 statute miles over the northern border of North Carolina. Again, that center of the storm just 90 miles east-northeast of Daytona Beach. The central pressure of the storm that you can see at the center there was last recorded just under an hour ago as 964 millibars as minimum central pressure, and the maximum sustained winds were 105 miles per hour. We're on the north side of the storm now, just off the east coast of North Carolina. Again, Hurricane Dorian still expected to affect much of the southeastern coast of the United States over the next few days. Some recent predictions also mention it may affect the coast of Virginia as well as the Chesapeake Bay. Again, coming in the next few days. Space station's track currently about northeast of the storm, over the Atlantic Ocean, 261 statute miles. The track of the space station will continue to follow over the Atlantic Ocean east of much of the Caribbean islands. Now passing almost directly east of the storm, again over the Atlantic Ocean. That center of the storm, 135 miles southeast of Jacksonville, Florida, 90 miles east-northeast of Daytona Beach. Traveling slowly up the Atlantic Ocean northward, affecting some of those southeastern states of the United States, including Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina. It's only traveling at 8 miles per hour on a north-northwest track. Now getting a view from the southeastern side of the storm, some of the islands of the Bahamas coming into view at the right of your screen. Again, Hurricane Dorian made landfall with the Bahamas over the weekend. as we start to lose sight of the storm, the width of the storm itself taking up much of the horizon. Again, Dorian affecting some of the Florida coast and expected to move up the north, affecting some of the southeastern states of the United States. Little effect to Cocoa Beach, but again, predictions could put landfall of the hurricane at the Carolinas. Space station itself traveling on a southeastern course, 261 statute miles, just east off the coast of Puerto Rico at this point. Hurricane Dorian disappearing over the horizon at this point. Some of the Caribbean islands to the right of your screen, west of the track of the International Space Station that continues to fly 17,500 miles per hour on a southeastern course. You can see some of the views from the International Space Station over the past few days on our social media channels and websites. The YouTube channel NASA Video